Welcome back. It's payday, and this payday I took home $4,867.08. Every single time I get paid, I like to take my paycheck, stick it into the software that you see on screen, and use it to give every single dollar a job. Out of this paycheck, I invested $0. So that means I didn't contribute to anything like a 401k or HSA. And my partner contributed $920 to our joint expenses. We split things proportionally over here, so that's where that comes from. And that gets us to our total of $5,787.08 to go ahead and budget, which I'm going to do now. First, I'm going to move this $4.65 that I have in holding, which is basically where I just put change, like loose change as it collects throughout the month or as I wrap up a prior month and kind of move things around for a clean slate. We're in the month of November, and this is our first paycheck for this month. We're currently underfunded for the month of November, and so we'll need to go through and budget for fixed costs, savings goals, and as much as we can in guilt-free spending to get us through the next few weeks. Okay, so starting in fixed costs, first is the home category. A couple of things have already come out so far. So our rent, storage, the garage that we also rent, and our building utilities all come out on the 1st as a part of our rent payment. So that's already taken care of. Those were already assigned in a previous video and they've already been charged. But we can keep going down our home category and fund some of the remaining. So first is utilities. I think our average spend for utilities is about $300 a month. And so I'm just going to fill it up to $400. I like to have a little bit extra there, especially in the winter months where we tend to spend more than we usually would. And I just want to make sure that if the bill ends up being a little bit higher than $300, we're covered. And then I can move around any extra that I have at the end of the month if it's less. Wi-Fi is $125. And then renter's insurance is a sinking fund that I have, which means I just contribute a little bit month over month. And by the end of the year or whenever this bill is due, I think this one is due in June. So whenever that comes due, because I've been setting aside, since I broke down the total into monthly increments, by the time it's due, then it'll be ready to go. And I don't have to think about it. So it makes it really nice. Our cleaning service happens twice a month. And so that needs $300. Although let me just check in November if this is a month where we would have 3 cleanings instead of 2. It looks like just 2. So $300 a month, that's what that gets. And then household goods. This is a category that we end up spending a lot out of throughout the month. It's anything you can think about that you would purchase and basically use up throughout a month. So like paper towels, toilet paper, I don't know, lotion, anything that gets consumed goes in this bucket. And so I like to give us about $800 to deal with that. Food and drink is next. Our meal kits, I think they come out to usually around $125 a week max, usually less. So our target is to set aside $125 each week, and then anything extra might get rolled over by the end of the month. This month, because there are 4 weeks, we need $500, so I will fill that up all of the way, and now that has turned green. Groceries, we partially funded with $200 in the prior video, but I am going to fully fund this now, and that gets $300 a month. Meals at work, we also partially funded with $100, but that gets $200 a month. And so now that is fully funded as well. Planes, trains, and automobiles is my transportation category. The first thing we need to fund here is my car loan, which is $600 a month. Auto insurance is a sinking fund because I pay this twice a year. So I just set aside what I need to by breaking down that 6-month total by 6 months. I set aside $228 every single month, and then by the time that is due, I will have what I need. Taxes, registration, and fees is also a sinking fund that will get $67. I made this total, I think, based on the amount I was assessed for property taxes for my car, which they do in my area. So last year I paid $800. I'm hoping that it'll be less because my car will have depreciated by the time it's due next year, but I also do need to register my car, so that should give me enough buffer there, I think. And then car cleaning and maintenance, I set aside $20 a month. I did actually get my car cleaned last month, finally. This had built up a little bit, so very happy about that. It looks almost brand new. Seasonal tire swap is also a sinking fund, and it gets $17 a month. Same thing, I take the total that I need. I do this twice a year, so take the amount that I'm charged, break it up by 6, and YNAB does that for you actually, really straightforwardly. So basically, I just had to enter the amount that I wanted here, which I said $100. I want to set it aside on this date and repeat every 6 months, and it'll automatically calculate what you need there, which is really cool. Okay, and then charging, I need $20 more, it looks like, to fill this up to 80. All right, and we're good to go with everything in transportation. Me is my personal care category. In the last video, I had set aside $75, which was about half of what I give myself for the month. I give myself $150. I already ended up spending that and moving that money to October, so I'm just going to give myself the other $75 now, and we will call that a done deal. Next, we have active services, and these are subscriptions that we're currently using. We started funding the ones that come out right away in the last video, and I'll just go through right now and fund the rest. So Apple Music gets $13. Chani, which is my astrology app, gets $14. Peloton, we just activated that again recently, and it's gone up from $44 to now $50 a month, so I'm setting that aside. And Apple Cloud Storage gets $10 a month. Walmart Plus and New York Times All Access are fully reimbursed by my credit card, so I'm not going to put aside any money for these right now. And then annual fees, these are fees that we have to pay once a year, and so I just entered the amount for the annual fee. For example, for Chase Sapphire, it's $95 a year. I say when it's due, and then again, YNAB will just calculate the target for me for what I need to set aside. And I did that for each of these. So it's just little sinking funds where you can just put a little bit every single month, and then you don't have to think about or pay attention to when these are due. You'll just have the money sitting there. So Chase Sapphire gets $8 a month. I like to round up, by the way. Amex Blue Cash gets $7 a month. YNAB will get $9 a month. Amazon Prime gets $12. Costco gets $5. Microsoft 365 gets $13. Samsung TV gets $5. Amex Platinum gets $123, and Amex Gold gets $30. And then lastly, my Aura ring, which I recently purchased, gets $7 a month. I added Uber One on here because one of my cards now reimburses for a Uber One membership. And so I just actually paid this last month for the annual membership and then was immediately reimbursed. So this is just sitting here because I just want to make a note that I am subscribed to this right now, even though it was fully covered. All right, then debt payments. I just have 2 here. I have my student loan, which needs $2,000 a month. And this is just a payment amount I determined myself for what I know I can contribute just month over month on a recurring basis. And then I also owed 2024 income taxes, and so I'm paying $300 a month for those. That has already come out. All right, so now our fixed costs are fully funded. There's nothing underfunded here, and we're ready to go with all of these for this month. I'll flip over now to savings goals, and we will keep going with the $694.73 that I have sitting up at the top. So out of pocket, this is just a sinking fund for any appointments, any medicines, contacts, just anything medically related that I know is going to come up throughout the year. I like to just set aside some money here so that when I have appointments, when those things are needed, I can go ahead and just pay for the money. I do this that way I can invest all the money in my HSA and just allow it to grow over time versus pulling money from that. So I like to just cover my medical costs out of pocket when I can. Giving, I'm going to set aside $125 for holiday festivities, and we are so close to fully funding this goal. My target was $1,500. I've spent some already on a gift for someone, so that's why it's like a little bit of a strange number, but we will get to that total of 1,500, I think, with the next check because I funded 1,375 so far, which is cool. All right. Gifts for others for non-holiday will get $40 and mutual aid will get $10. Travel and nest egg we won't worry about in this video, but we may come back to in another video this month. And then lastly, we have guilt-free spending. A couple things going on here. I mentioned in my prior video that I recently joined a gym, and so it looks like the total for that each month is $35.08. That just came out, so I covered that. And then I also have a few other categories that we spend on guilt-free. I'm not going to give myself any like guilt-free spending money just for like whatever for the rest of this year at least. I've spent more than I would want to for the year already on guilt-free spending for myself, so I think I'm good there. But I am going to set aside what I need for hobby equipment, and that is $36 a month. And then coffee we have already funded this month and spent some already. Restaurants we have not fully funded, although I did contribute some too in the last video. And then I ended up moving some money from October and stuff in here as well. So it might be a little bit higher than what you remember it last being. But we'll go ahead and add another $350, I think, there. And we need $480 by the end of the month. We're not going to be able to fund that right now. And in the next video, I guess we can get to that and then also start getting into the month of December and possibly also some other savings goals. So I'll take this $8.73 for now and stick it in holding. And that is that. Thank you so much. And I will catch you in the next one. Bye.